Good morning, America, and welcome back to Global Glimpse. Today we are following a major political development that is already making headlines around the world. President Donald J. Trump has signed an executive order designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. This marks the first time in American history that a sitting president has classified a domestic political movement under the same framework used for foreign terrorist groups. This executive order describes Antifa as a militarist and anarchist enterprise that aims to overthrow law enforcement and disrupt government functions. It accuses the movement of carrying out violent acts, including riots, doxing, organized assaults, and intimidation campaigns. Under this order, federal agencies such as the Department of Justice, the FBI, and Homeland Security are now directed to investigate, disrupt, and dismantle illegal operations linked to Antifa or individuals acting in its name. The order also opens the possibility of financial crackdowns, warning that anyone who provides money, supplies, or support to Antifa-linked groups could face prosecution under terrorism laws. The controversy, however, comes from the nature of Antifa itself. Experts point out that it is not a traditional organization with leaders or membership lists. Instead, it is a decentralized movement. This raises questions about how law enforcement can prove affiliation or prosecute individuals based on ideology rather than clear criminal conduct. Legal scholars note that U.S. law has only allowed for foreign organizations to be designated as terrorist groups, not domestic movements. Civil liberties groups, including the ACLU, are already warning that the order may not hold up in court. They argue that it poses a direct threat to First Amendment rights, including freedom of association and political speech. Critics say this could open the door to guilt by association, where peaceful protesters, journalists, or activists could face investigation simply for attending rallies where Antifa members are present. Lawsuits are expected in the coming weeks, and courts will likely be asked to decide whether this order is constitutional. Reactions have been sharply divided along political lines. Supporters of the president argue that this was a necessary step to protect law and order, pointing to years of violent clashes involving Antifa in cities like Portland and Washington, D.C. They believe the terrorist designation finally gives law enforcement the tools needed to stop left-wing extremism. On the other hand, Democrats and progressive activists say this sets a dangerous precedent that could criminalize dissent and silence political opposition. They warn it could be compared to authoritarian crackdowns in other countries. The order has also reignited debates about Antifa's history. The movement traces back to early 20th century Europe as part of anti-fascist resistance groups. In the United States, it became prominent around 2016 and drew national attention during the George Floyd protests in 2020, when nightly clashes between protesters and police placed Antifa in the spotlight. Trump had threatened to classify the movement as terrorism then, but the Justice Department at the time said no legal pathway existed. Today, the president has acted unilaterally through executive order. Whether this action holds up legally remains uncertain, but politically it marks the fulfillment of a long-standing promise. On social media, hashtags like Antifa and terror designation are trending across X, TikTok, and YouTube, with supporters praising the order and critics calling it unconstitutional and authoritarian. Early polls show the nation is deeply divided. A recent survey indicates that a majority of Republicans support the designation, while most Democrats strongly oppose it. Independents are nearly evenly split, suggesting this issue could become a defining factor in the upcoming 2026 midterms. Looking ahead, there are 4 key areas to watch. Federal agencies must now decide how to enforce the order and whether arrests or prosecutions will follow. Civil liberties groups are preparing legal challenges that could block the order in federal courts. Some Democratic-led states may also resist cooperating with federal enforcement, setting up a potential conflict with Washington. And finally, This issue is expected to shape campaign messaging on both sides as the next election cycle approaches. To summarize, President Trump's executive order designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization has set off a political, legal, and cultural battle that is likely to unfold over months, if not years. Supporters call it a necessary step for national security, while critics see it as a dangerous attack on free speech. The outcome will depend on how courts, states, and federal agencies respond in the coming days. This is a developing story, and we will continue to track updates as they come in. Thank you for watching Global Glimpse. Make sure to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe with the notification bell on because this story is developing fast and will keep you ahead of the curve. Stay informed, stay aware, and until next time, take care.